Hi everyone, welcome to today's Houzz Pro onboarding webinar. We're excited to be working with you to market and manage your business over the next 12 months and hopefully beyond. My name is Melanie, and along with my colleague Emma, in today's session, we will be guiding you through how to set yourself up for success with Houzz Pro. But a reminder to make the most out of your onboarding session today. Log in, take lots of notes, but don't worry, we are recording today's session and you will receive a copy of this recording in your email later today. Ask lots of questions, and you can do that through the Q&A feature on the right-hand side of your screen. We are online now and we are here to help. So we will be chatting back to you. However, if we don't get to everyone's questions today, we will contact you via email after the webinar. We'll also be sharing helpful links throughout the session, and they will appear in the chat box to the right-hand side of your screen. You can feel free to bookmark those, and you can always refer back to them at a later date if you need to. Today, we'll be covering everything from logging into your account, your premium Houzz profile features, setting up your Houzz Pro account, managing your leads with our CRM tool, everything to do with projects and documents, and then finishing today's session with visual tools. That's our mood boards and 3D floor planner. But we've got a lot to cover, so let's dive in. Okay, first things first, let's make sure that you are signed in. So you'll want to make sure you're on houzz.com.au if you are in Australia, .nz if you are in New Zealand. And once you're on Houzz, you'll see your Houzz in the top right-hand corner if you are already signed in. If you're not, then simply click the sign in button. Now this will take you through to our Houzz login page. From here, you can enter in your credentials and click the sign in button. However, if you're not sure what your password is, you can click the email me link to sign in, and this will send you a magic link to the email address associated with your Houzz Pro account. You'll be able to access your account from there. Otherwise, you can also click the forgot your password button down here to reset your password from an email being sent to you. Or if you know your details, we can go ahead and click sign in. This will take you through to the Houzz homepage. So now we are here on the Houzz homepage. To access our Houzz profile, you'll now see the Your Houzz in the top right-hand corner. Let's go ahead and click that to have a look at our Houzz profile. So when you first log into your Houzz profile, you will be on the edit view of your page. To preview what the public profile looks like, you can click Preview Public Profile, and this will take you through to what potential clients would see when they look at your profile on Houzz. To navigate back to your page, simply click Back to Private Profile, and this will take you back to the edit view where you can make edits. Click Edit, and it'll take you to the back end here where you can start updating your information, making sure you fill out as much as possible because this will ensure your profile is looking professional and established. Okay. Once you've done that, we can have a look at using the software and setting up your Houzz Pro account. So to go to the professional portal, all you need to do is click Go to Houzz Pro, which is this blue button, and this will take you through to our professional portal. So now that we've updated our client-facing Houzz profile, we are now in the Houzz Pro Professional Portal. So this is our professional portal that houses all of the software and tools that you need to run your business through Houzz Pro. So my first tip here would be to bookmark this page. You can do that by selecting the blue star in the URL bar and save this to your personal bookmarks so you can find this page easily when you need to. Now let's have a look at what you can see on this page. We're currently on the home overview page of the portal. At the top, you'll see links to all of the tools that we'll be going through later as well. As we scroll down, you'll see a few quick access links to our visual tools and leads. And then below that, here are some tips on making sure you are setting yourself up for success on Houzz. So have you uploaded your profile photo yet? Have you created a project? Then as you scroll down, you have a customizable tile to select some key areas of Houzz. If you were doing our ultimate subscription, you could select marketing. If not, you can keep leads and projects. And then further down the page, you'll see some quick access links to our most recent articles from our Houzz Pro Learn Center. But if we look over to the right-hand side, here you'll see a link to the full Houzz Pro Learn Center. And this is a really useful place to come because the information here is not just on using your Houzz profile, but there's a lot of content here that is industry specific as well. You can search by industry and topic. Some really fantastic content in here for you. Then as we scroll up, you'll see above that, the Pro to Pro discussion board. This is online forums for professionals only. And then you'll see a quick access link to our help center. Okay. Now, if we go back to our portal, in the top right-hand corner is another help button. So this is really important. This also will take you through to the help center, and this is also where you can contact the support team. But let's start with the help center. So by clicking here, this will take you through to a page where you can search our robust catalog of articles, tutorials, how-tos, all about your Houzz Pro account. So if you needed some help perhaps on creating mood boards, you could type in what you're looking for, and again, it'll take you through to all of the articles that are related to that topic. You can scroll through and have a look at what you need. And as you hover on these articles, you also get a snapshot of what is included in each. So this is always where I would recommend to come as a first step. If you're new to your account and you just want to find out how to do something, always search the help center because these articles are so robust. You'll see there are step-by-step screenshots giving you full detail about what you need to do. They're extremely thorough and you'll get an instant answer. However, of course, if you're not able to find what you're looking for or you do need to contact support, all you need to do is click the Contact Us, submit a support request, and here you'll be able to see you can fill out a form. So you can select the topic that you're after. Again, it might be mood boards, and put in the details. All of these tickets do directly come through to the support team, and we have a sophisticated ticketed system that allows our reps to get back to you in a timely manner. So when you are submitting an inquiry through to support, it's best to enter as much detail as you can, including what project you're working in, what document number you're working on, what line item you need help with. The more information you can provide us, this will help us troubleshoot and get back to you in a timely manner. Okay, so let's go back to the Houzz portal. So to access your account settings in Houzz Pro, you can simply hover on this cog in the top right hand corner. You'll see it says settings. When I click, I'll see all of the different settings available to me within Houzz Pro. So let's click on account settings. Now this is definitely where you want to start because the information here is what will populate those branded documents for you later. So you'll want to make sure your logo is uploaded, your ABN number is in here, and that all of your company contact information is up to date and correct. Now you'll notice that it's grayed out here, and that's because it's actually pulling from our profile settings. So if you did need to make changes to your company contact details, you would simply click into the profile settings and update it there. Next you have billing. This is where you can come to update your payment method for your Houzz Pro subscription. And then you have subscription manager. So by clicking into here, you'll see what type of subscription you're on, the start date of your subscription. You're also able to download your invoices from your subscription from here as well. Now, if you are still within the first 30 days of your Houzz Pro subscription and you feel that the product is not a fit for you, this is where you can come to actually cancel and opt out of that 12-month subscription if you are still within that first 30-day trial period only. Then we can go into online payments. So this allows you to set up your account so that you can receive online payments from your clients. Just follow the prompts here. You'll be able to enter in your bank details, and once you've set that up, your clients will be able to pay via credit card on your live documents later. We use a third-party processor, Stripe, and there's a 1.4% transaction fee. Next, we have financials and accounting. So here you're able to set up your default GST settings on your documents. Are they inclusive or exclusive of GST? You can always customize this on a document later if you need to. You can type in a custom invoice name, and you can also set up your GST rates. To do that, simply click Add GST and fill out the details. So if you're an Australian professional, 10%, if you're in New Zealand, 15%, and if you're working with multiple rates, you can select your default from here as well. Next, we have teams. So here you can invite your team members and your subcontractors or suppliers to collaborate with you in your online workspace, and you will have full control over the permissions you are giving them access to. So first we'll look at team members. The number of team members you can invite to your Houzz Pro account will depend on what level of subscription you're on. If you're not sure, you can always reach out to support and we can help you with that. To invite a team member, simply click on Invite Team, and you'll get a pop-up here where you can enter in their name, their email, and start typing in their role to create a new role. And then you'll see the list of permissions split up into the different areas of your projects, leads, projects, and visual tools. So let's say you want to give your team member visibility on leads but not allow them to hold meetings. You could deselect that. When you're happy with the permissions you've set, simply click Invite. Your team member will appear as pending here, and they will receive an email from your company asking them to create a login. Once they've activated that, it will appear green here and say activated. You can always come in and edit and add or remove permissions if you like. If for any reason you need to resend the invitation, you can do so from here. Perhaps it went to their spam, you can send it again. And should this team member move on from your company, you can remove them from Houzz Pro altogether by clicking remove. Now for subcontractors and suppliers, you'll see it's just on the same page, but in this tab. And you'll see I have an activated subcontractor here. This is exactly what it would look like once your team member accepts as well. So to invite a new subcontractor or supplier, simply click here. It looks a little bit different to the team member. You would put in their name, their email, whether they are a subcontractor or a supplier, then click next. And on this page, you'll see the permissions to what areas of Houzz Pro they will have access to. So that is the project overview, any files or shared documents that you share, timeline, and daily logs. They'll be able to create their own daily logs and share those with you as well. Then you can simply personalize an email for that supplier and click invite. Again, just like the team member, they'll receive an email from your company asking them to create a login, and once they do, you'll see activated here. Again, you can always edit, but when we click edit for a subcontractor and supplier, you'll see we have a permissions tab and an access tab. And the access tab shows us exactly which projects they have access to. If they have access to multiple projects, you would see them listed here. Now, if you need to remove them from a particular project, you would simply click the trash icon here to remove them from that project. And if you need to remove them from Houzz Pro altogether, again, clicking on their name in the list and click remove. We'll show you how to invite subcontractors and suppliers to particular projects later when we go into more detail in the projects section. Lastly, let's have a look at calendar. So here you can link your calendar, and this will enable an easy online scheduling experience for your clients. It's going to also eliminate that back and forth when trying to nail down a time. I already have my calendar linked, but for you, you would see a blue button here where you could click and link your calendar. And then once you've done that, you'll have access to our video conferencing integrations, allowing you to leverage video meetings with your clients. Here you'll see you also have personal booking links, and this is dependent on the call type. So whether it's a video call, on-site, or phone call, you can select and copy this link and use it in other media, email, website, wherever you would like to. Here you'll see your meeting types that you can edit and customize. Simply create new by clicking create new meeting type and click edit settings to select your preferences for that meeting type. So if you would only like to have clients schedule video calls between say 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. on a Friday, you can go ahead and select those details and customize and then click save. You'll also see down here you can promote video consultations on your Houzz profile by turning on this toggle. This means that when potential clients are looking at you in the professional directory, they'll see your listing and they can also click video meeting and schedule that with you here. If you need to unlink your calendar, simply click Okay, so now let's have a look at managing your leads in Houzz Pro. We're going to click on leads and then we'll select see all leads. And this will take you through to our client relationship management tool or CRM tool. So this tool allows you to view all of your leads from various sources and keep track of all of your client communications in one centralized place. So let's have a look at what we can see. Here we have all of our active leads. And on the left-hand side, we can see which stage all of these leads are in, from anything that we've followed up with, to scheduling a meeting with, to any that we've won and converted into projects. We also have the option to snooze and archive. So you'll notice when I hover on top of a lead, I get these 3 dots. Again, anytime you see these 3 dots, this is a menu. It means there are options there for you. So when we select this, I have the options to snooze, archive, or delete. So let's say we're booked out for the next couple months. We don't have capacity to take this project on, but this lead is happy to wait for us. We can select from the dates here or choose a custom date and then hit snooze. Houzz Pro will recall this lead when it is time to speak to them again, making it easy for you to follow up with your clients. Or perhaps it's not a fit for you. You can select archive, you can select the reason why, save, and also have a default email that will be sent to your client. You can also import any leads into Houzz Pro, and we would recommend, again, making sure that you are doing this so that you're only working with all of your leads in one spot, making it easy for you to stay organized and on top of all of these potential clients. So the first option here is import leads. If I click here, I have 2 options. The first is the option to download a CSV file. So once you download this template, you can copy and paste details and then re-upload the CSV file into Houzz Pro so that your contacts are listed in your leads section. The second option here is to import from an email. So if you already have a conversation with a potential client in your inbox, you can copy this email address and forward that conversation to it so that it imports into your Houzz Pro account. You can also utilize our Gmail extension. If you're using Gmail, you would click here and you can download from the Google Chrome store. And again, using this extension will make it really easy for you to import any emails that you're currently interacting with within Gmail into Houzz Pro. And you can create a new lead manually. Simply click on Create New Lead, put in the lead details. You can select from your existing clients or create a new. But what's important here is lead source. Again, you can select social media, word of mouth, phone call, making sure that all of those leads are in the one spot, easy for you to work with. When you're ready, click Create Lead. But let's click within a lead I've already created and have a look at the functionality there. So the first thing we'll see when we click into a lead is the overview page. We'll see the last email that was sent, and as we scroll down, we'll see the lead activity, showing us exactly what's been happening with this lead. On the right hand side, we'll see all the details that pertain to this lead. So what stage they're in, any proposals or estimates I've created, any upcoming meetings that we've scheduled, as well as the lead details. And we can edit these at any time as well. When we click into the Messages tab, this is where all of our emails back and forth with our client will be. You'll see the chain. To email your client, simply write in this box here. You'll see the normal formatting buttons at the bottom. You can attach pictures, you can attach files, and when you're ready, you can click send. Or you can definitely create templates. So you'd want to click customize templates, create new templates, and here you can have all of your emails ready to go. And the goal here really is to automate this process as much as possible for you. So we do encourage you to use our smart text as well, including client name or perhaps even your calendar link. Again, making it really easy for you to have these emails ready to go and not spend a lot of time on them. Once you've created your custom templates, you can also star your quick replies. So perhaps they're the emails that you are most frequently using, or you just want to have these easy to go. You can star up to 4, and you can always search through your template list as well. Okay, let's go ahead and select one. So now that you have your email ready to go, you can actually preview the template details. So if I click in here, you'll see the style of the emails that you can send. So the default template will be slightly branded. You'll have your company logo. We have a letter icon ready there. The next template is more of a clean design. And then the last one is more of a branded style. And this will actually pull from the cover photo on your Houzz profile. You can also see what these emails would look like on mobile device. When you're happy, you can save and select. You also have the ability to create notes. So you'll see again these 3 dots. I can create a note that is specific to this conversation. So maybe details of inspo, add note. And what you'll see is in a long chain of emails back and forth, it's easy for me to find specific information that pertains to something that I'm looking for within this chain of emails. I can also create a template from a message. So if I've already created an email and sent that off, but it's something I want to save, I can definitely go ahead and do that. Now the notes section also allows me to create general notes. So they don't need to be attached to a specific email. I can put any notes that I need for this particular project in here. And I can also log my calls. So when you're on your phone to your client, you can see all of your lead details. You can go ahead and schedule meetings from here, and you can log the details that you have on the phone with your client. When you go ahead and select the status of that call, perhaps it was a good discussion. If this lead was in a new stage, as soon as you select good discussion, Houzz Pro would move this to follow up. So again, making it easy for you to stay on top of your follow-ups and stay on top of all of your leads. Okay. The file section over here will show you any attachments in your emails, but you can also upload files directly into the file section from here. And then the proposal section will show you any proposals or estimates that you've sent to your client. You can create them from here or upload into the system, but we'll go into more detail in the project section for creating proposals and estimates later. On the right hand side, again, you can schedule meetings. So we linked our calendar, so we're able to share our calendar from here. We can select the meeting type, we can copy the link, and we can hyperlink this into an email if we like to share with our client, or we can schedule on behalf of our client by clicking here and viewing our calendar, because again, we've synced that in. We'll be able to see all of our availability without leaving Houzz Pro. We can select the time, send an invite, and that will schedule this meeting for our client, but also schedule it in our calendar as well, alerting both parties. If we need to cancel the meeting or reschedule, we'll be giving those options as well. Okay? Then when you're happy and you've won this project, you can go ahead and click Convert to Project. And all of the information that is housed within this lead will move into the project section of Houzz Pro, and it will unlock all of the extra functionality now that this lead is a project.
Hello everybody, my name is Emma and I am the support specialist and Houzz Pro product expert for Houzz Pro, and I'll be guiding you through a couple of tools in today's session. So the first thing what we're going to cover is the project, so where to find it and how to use it. So the first thing we need to do is click into projects in our navigation bar and select see all projects. So this is going to give you access to all of the projects that you have created to date and give you the ability to create new projects moving forward. So the first thing I'm going to do is click on Create New Project in the top right hand corner and fill out just basic details about this project. So for example, first thing I'm going to type in is project name, my client. So if I click into my client bar, that's going to give me a list of all of my existing clients I've got in my client library. This is good if it's a maybe new project for an existing client or a client you've already added into your database. Otherwise, you can click on Create New Client and give basic contact details like phone number, address, email address, so on and so forth. Once you've got your client in there, you can come in and select a project type, so what this project's going to consist of. You've got a couple of options you can select there. We've then got a project code. So this code is going to live at the beginning of every one of your document names, so you can customize that if you wish to. Below that, we've got addresses that we can customize to your liking. We've then got the option of adding in our rooms. So here we've got a bunch of suggested options. You can add in your own as well. I'm just going to go with a couple of these ones here. Below that, we've got financial details. So we've got a budget for the project, so you can come in with an estimated budget. If these details do change over time, we can always come back and edit these. We're never locked in. If you want, you can set up online payments through Houzz Pro. So when you do send your client a proposal or invoice, they've got the option to pay online. So click on Pay Now, enter their card details, and submit that through. Below that, we've got our project scope. So you can pop in any additional details about this project. I'm just going to keep it really simple and stick to budget. But you can pop in as many details as you'd like in there. Once you click on done, that's going to create a new project for this client. So once this project is created, you'll notice you've got your project dashboard on the very far left hand side, and this is where you'll be maneuvering through during the life cycle of your project. One quick thing we go through before we start going through that dashboard is the invite option. So in the top right hand corner, if you wanted to invite your client to the project dashboard, you've got the option to do that. But I'll touch base a little bit more in detail on that at the very end of this walkthrough for projects. What we've got is our project overview. So this is what we're looking at currently. So at the moment, I've just created my project. I haven't really done anything with it. So most of this information is blank. For example, quick accesses is going to show me all of the latest documents I've created and give me the option to create new ones. Below that, I've got my message tab, so I can continue or start off a fresh conversation email thread with my client. Below that, I've got tasks, so you can create tasks for your client, for team members, just making sure that everyone in the project is up to date with to-do items. Below that, upcoming events. So this is going to autofill kind of as you go on through the life cycle of your project. For example, when you do create an invoice and give a deadline, that deadline is going to come up as an upcoming event. So you can keep track of all of your deadlines for your projects and make sure that it's either been approved or paid by the client. Below, same sort of thing with your files, it's going to auto-populate. So you've got the option to upload files, but when you do add attachments to your documents, they'll auto-populate here as well. We've got our left-hand navigation bar, so the second option we have is messages. So this is going to be converted from a lead if you have converted a lead into a project, but you've got the option to upload an existing email thread. If something you've got in Gmail, for example, you want to upload that, you can do that. Otherwise, of course, you can come in and assign a template. So maybe the client has, or you want to book in a video consultation, you can send that through. You can pretty much create any kind of message and send that through to your client. We've got mood boards, but we'll touch base on that in a minute later on in our webinar. Next, we've got our project tracker. So it's kind of like the heartbeat of your project. So we'll touch base on this in just a minute, but this is where you can come in and start exporting your data into either FFE schedules, an Excel export, really keeping track of all the products and services that you specified across all of your documents. So this is a really great way to track everything that's going on within your project. Next, we've got our timeline tool. Again, pretty blank at the moment because I haven't added anything in, but we'll touch base on this in a minute. What we've got is our proposals. So what we'll do is we'll talk about how to create proposals and all of the interactions we have in a proposal, except before we get to that, we have to go back a step and think, okay, we want to create a proposal, but what other products we're adding onto that? And that links back to our product library. So for the product library, what we need to do is install the product clipper to go online on websites and source products to add into your Houzz Pro library. So to do that, what we need to do is click on Help in the top right-hand corner and select Help Center. Once you open your Help Center, you want to go ahead and type in Clipper, and that's going to go ahead and give you all of the help articles based on your search. What you've got the option here of doing is typing in how to create a proposal, how to create an invoice, how to track my time. Like this is going to be the database of all of the help that you need. Once I go ahead and hit enter, that's going to give me all of my Clipper searches. So I recommend selecting the first one, how to download the Clipper, and that's going to give you the Here article, which allows you to quickly click in and search up that product. So this is what that article looks like. All you have to do is click here, follow the prompts below, and that way in the very top right hand corner, we've got that blue leaf, which means we've got it installed and we're ready to start sourcing. So what I've done is just Googled a product. For example, this one here, we've got a entertainment unit. I think it would work really well for my project Strafford unit I've just created. First thing I'm going to do is add it into my library so I can actually send this to my client. So what I'm going to do is open up the Clipper by hovering over a product and clicking on that blue leaf, which is our Google Chrome Product Clipper extension tool. Once I click on that, it'll open up a menu on the right hand side, which is going to ask me to sign into my Clipper. So what I'm going to do is type in my email address here, that's linked to my Houzz Pro account, and click sign in with Houzz Pro, the Houzz website. And from there, what you'll need to do is just click on go to Houzz Pro in the top right hand corner. So first thing we want to do is add in all the details for this product. So by default, what I might want to do is start with my images. So what I'm going to do is, again, hover over each product and click on the blue leaf. And that's going to pull that image into my top right hand corner. So we can see we've clicked one image and we've got 4 to go. So I'm just going to go through a couple different angles and add in those images just by clicking on that leaf so my client can see what this looks like. Next, I'm going to grab my text. So I'm just going to click with my mouse, drag, release, and then click on the drop down what this information is. So I'm going to hold it in with my product title and it'll automatically fill that in. Below that, I've got my cost. So whatever you're purchasing this product for, trade, wholesale, that's what you want to enter in here. So let's just pretend our trade price is $2,500. But I don't want to charge my client $2,500, I want to make a bit of profit. So I'm going to add on a markup of an X amount percentage. If you don't work out of percentage and you just want to charge your client for retail, you can click on the calculate markup icon and just type in the recommended retail price into client price or whatever you want to charge your client. That's then going to work out the percentage for you, less math for you, and also give you your profit in a dollar amount. You can then click set, and that way every time you charge your client, they'll be charged $3,570 for the unit. You can obviously customize this document to document, but that's your default price. Below that we've got is this GST inclusive. I would always recommend keeping it quite unified across. If you enter in your unit cost exclusive GST, I'd recommend adding in your client price exclusive as well, and then unticking this box. Below that we've got the client description. So I'm not going to go ahead and make up a description, I'm just going to copy and paste a sentence from the supplier, but feel free to make up your own if you prefer. Below that we've got our category, so just a way of you staying organized in your product library. You can organize them per categories. So maybe you want a storage option. Your vendor is your supplier, so you can come in with Globe West. If you want to create your own, you've got the option to create a new vendor. Below that we've got a project. So I know I want this for my Strathfield unit project I've just created. And below that I can actually link it to a specific room. So I'm going to go in with my living room. I'm going to click on additional details. I'm not going to fill out all this information because I feel it's pretty straightforward, but the main details I'm going to pop in is maybe the color, and then I'm going to go in with the material as well. Special things to make note of is recommended retail price. I always recommend adding that in. That way down the track, if you ever want to know if you've passed a discount onto your client or just want to sneak peek without having to Google the product, you've always got that recommended retail in there. Another thing is your internal note, so maybe it comes assembled or not. You want to add that in just for you to know down the track. And then you've got your tags, which is just a quick way of searching through your library. So here you might want to write unit or wooden, Globe West, any special notes you can pop in there. And then we'll just click on Save to Houzz Pro. So that's going to tell me that it's been saved. Awesome. I can continue clipping or I can see it on Houzz. And that's going to bring me to my product library. But what I'm actually going to do is go back into my other tab and start creating my proposal. So what I'm going to do is go back into new proposal and start from scratch and start adding in my products for this particular room. So this is my dining room. This is my living room I'm going to start working on. Awesome. So now that we've got our document created, first thing I might want to do is give it a new title. So maybe I want to say proposal for living room. Here I can give my costs by default, inclusive or exclusive. I've got my due date for this document to be paid or approved, and then I can start adding in my line items. First thing I want to do is actually collapse this right-hand menu, which gives me a total financial of all of my line items, as well as an activity stream, which is latest interactions with my document. That way I can just focus on my line items. And then I'm going to start adding them in from my library. So once I click on from library, that's going to open it up on my right-hand side. I've got my drafts, which is all of the products that I've saved from the clipper to this project or from a mood board that haven't yet been allocated to a document. So here I'm going to click on that entertainment unit we just saved from the clipper. And then I'm going to go into my actual product library with my pendants here and look at all of the other products I've saved in my clipper in the past. So I'm just going to build up this room. I've got an entertainment unit, I've got a sofa, and I've got a lamp. That should do me. If I want, I can also add in services. So if I want to charge for my time, I can do that as well. So maybe we had a consultation, I'm going to charge my client for that. You can create any service just by clicking on new service and just giving basic details about this service. Title, cost, etc. Once I've got all my line items in and I'm happy with it, what I'm going to do is have a look at my line items. I've added these products in a while ago. Maybe I don't want to charge my client full retail anymore. Maybe I want to pass on a discount or make an even greater markup. I can come in and start editing all these details. For example, I can click on this little calculator, and if I want, I can show my client, I'm getting it for $2,400, but I'm giving it to you for $3,500. you can actually say to your client, this actually retails, and again, I'm pretending here, but it retails for $5,000. I'm going to show you that I am giving you X% off retail. So that's something you can present to your client as well. I can come in and start playing around with my quantities and then scroll down, make sure I'm happy with everything, add in shipping costs if I've got them. Also, I've got the option of removing items. So if I have added in a product and I don't want it anymore, I can click on that item and remove it, add it to a new proposal, or create my purchase order or start customizing. With my customization, what I can actually do is show less details. For example, maybe I don't want to show images at this stage, maybe I don't want to show product details like colors, dimensions, etc. Or I can actually give the client the option to approve per line item. So we'll touch base on exactly what that is in a minute. But basically, I've customized my document a little bit, I'm happy with it. Before I send this off to my client though, I want to scroll down to payments. This is going to give me the option to actually start scheduling in payments. So I can click on schedule a payment. First, I'm going to call it maybe the deposit of X%. So here I've got my document total. If I wanted, I can actually come in with a dollar amount or percentage and say I want a 70% deposit. I can then say to my client, I want this paid on a specific date, and then give the option to add in more scheduled payments. So every time I click on schedule payment, it's just going to split the remaining amount. If I wanted to, I can create as many scheduled payments, and again, it's just going to split the remaining amounts that I've got. Awesome. So once I've got all of my scheduled payments and I'm happy with that, I'm going to go down and attach any files. So maybe I've got care guides, care instructions, I can upload that. I've got my terms and conditions and my memos. So you can actually create templates for this. So if I click on my templates, I can have a look at my company set defaults. So my company defaults are these templates I've already got auto-filled, so I didn't have to add them in. But as I go, I can come in and create a new template for T's and C's. Or if I want to go into my memo box, I can come in and create a new template for each memo as well. One thing I can do is click on more actions and actually duplicate and edit. So if I want to make multiples of the same document, I can do that as well. So maybe I've got a whole bunch of set products, for example, paint finishes and floorboard treatments, just as an example, and I only want to customize the furniture, I can actually duplicate that, keep my base items, and then add on things that are different per room. I've also got the option to download spec sheets, which are really great PDF exports of each product. I can approve or decline the document on my client's behalf, or I can go in and actually approve or decline each line item on the client's behalf as well. We'll touch base on this in a minute, but what I want to do is go back and click on preview and share in the top right hand corner to see what the client's going to see before I send it off. So this is essentially what the client's going to see. If I want to be a little bit more detailed, I can click on show client markup and I can show them the percentage I've marked up. Otherwise, I can show quantity and unit, I can show the description with each product, and I can actually allow my client to e-sign my document. So if I scroll down to the bottom, they've got the option when they click approve or decline, they have to e-sign. Another thing I can do is have a look at my scheduled payments, along with the title and the due date and the dollar amount. I've got the option to split up my payments. So when the client comes in and approves or declines items, in real time, it'll deduct that amount. If I decline this consultation, $100 will get removed from my total price, along with the deposit requested. So out of that $100 that has been removed, is that going to get deducted as a dollar amount for my deposit payment? Or is that going to be removed as a fixed amount from that payment as well? So you've got the option to edit that. If you want to learn more, you've always got the option to click there. Otherwise, I can come in, give my document a subject line, along with my document template, and then I can send that off to my client. You can see I've got a few spelling mistakes here, but we're just going to ignore that. I've got the option to send that to myself as well, if that's what I like, export as PDF, but we're just going to go ahead and click on confirm and send. So once I've sent that to my client, first thing I've got is my activity stream. So that's now been updated. So I can see a little bit more of actions here. When the client once that gets sent, it'll say sent. Once the client opens it, it'll say opened. Once they've approved, it tracks every action of the document as well. Once a client does approve and decline in their client's view, and they submit that and sign it, your document does get locked. So it just protects yourself. If they've gone ahead and approved everything and you've ordered them, and your client said, actually, no, I've changed my mind, you've always got that approval locked in. If it's still early stages and your client is quite indecisive, you've got the option to approve and decline on their behalf. So doing that, we're going to go back into more actions and approve per line item. So here you can actually come in and approve and decline, and you can come in and actually save it. So what that's going to actually do is save those, so you've got approve and declined, but we're not locking it in yet, we're just saving it, we're not submitting. So if your client has changed their mind, you can go back into approve per line item, and you can undo and change the option there. Once you do click on save and submit, it's going to lock those in. So now you'll notice anytime I go to a specific product and click into my cost box or my quantity, I can't edit anything anymore. The only thing I can edit on my documents now is logging payment. So if I've sent this to my client, they've seen in my memo I've got my bank transfer details, awesome, they're going to pay me, I'm going to log that payment, and I'm going to say, yep, the client did pay by bank transfer and they paid X amount. That's then going to log and allow me to go, okay, cool, let's go ahead and convert this into a purchase order, an invoice. Let's kind of get the ball rolling. And again, that's always going to track. So now that I have converted my payment and I can see that payment's logged, I'm going to start ordering my products. So I'm just going to tick the items I want, and I'm going to pop those on a purchase order. So tick the items I want, create purchase orders. That's going to give me a pop-up, split up all of my items per supplier. If I need to, I can always change it. If I don't want an item converted onto a purchase order, I can remove it. And then I select create purchase orders. It's going to create those purchase orders. It's not going to automatically send it off. So they'll just be sitting there for when you're ready. And you can come in and you can start tracking what's going on with that purchase order. You can come in and say, have you ordered it? What's the status? You can log payments. So you can say, yes, awesome, I have paid my supplier. I don't need to worry about it. I'm just waiting for it to be delivered. You can track everything that's going on. So you'll notice the documents look quite similar. So we're not learning a whole new thing each time. One handy thing is linked documents, so we can see which documents it originally lives on. Again, we can give a due date. We can come down and have a look at our line items and interact with it. Quantity, it goes back to its cost price, not its client price. We can add in estimated shipping dates we want these shipped on from our supplier. Pretty much tracking everything as we go. We've got T's and C's, we've got memo details, we've got files, and we can come in, like I said before, and track these products. So have we ordered them? Have they been delivered? Once we select that, it'll all update. Same thing as before, we've got preview and share in the top right hand corner, so we can have a look at this before we send it off to our supplier and order these products. Let's just pretend we've ordered them, awesome. Supplier turned around and said, hey, you've listed this as $2,500, but it's actually $3,000 now. You can go back into your quote and log that difference. So let's hop back into our proposal tab within our project. Awesome, so now we're back into our proposal. So this is our original document. You'll notice all of the items we have created a purchase order for now live on that line item. And you'll always be able to click in and it links back into that specific purchase order. What I'm actually going to do is click on those two items and I'm going to move that into an invoice. So I'm going to create a final invoice for this particular document. Here it allows you to say that you want to convert these transactions. I'm just going to go ahead and create that invoice. And now we've got our 2 line items, and we can come in and edit those details. So we were quoted 2,500, but it changed to 3,000. We're going to update that, and we can now see those price differences. So here we've got our 2 items. We can come in, we can send this to our client. This is a project wrap up. So with an invoice, as soon as you do send it to your client, it'll be marked as issued. So you can come in and start getting the ball rolling to wrap up your project. There are so many other tools that you have within your project that you can go through. For example, you've got options to create retainers and credits. You can come in and access your notes tab within your project to make sure that you and your team are all aligned. You've got so many tools that are available to you that I do recommend just hopping in and having a bit of a play with. So your notes tab that you do have allows you and your team to keep track of everything that's going on within the project in a bit of a private space. So any notes you do add in will not be seen by your client. So you can come in and talk to your team members, make sure everything is up to date, and any important details are logged. You can come in and also create call logs. So if you did call your client and you want to make sure that each team member is across what's been discussed, you can add those notes in here. So I hope everyone is across on how to create your projects. Have a bit of a play with it, and of course if you ever need any assistance, we've got that help tab, and you can come in and always submit a support inquiry. Throughout that whole life cycle, I just want to quickly touch base on the invite section. So what this is actually going to allow you to do is 1, invite your client to the project. So anything that you've sent to your client throughout the life cycle of your project, for example, that invoice, proposals, that's going to be seen on the client dashboard. So you can actually invite your client dashboard, maybe invite your client to the dashboard, maybe in the beginning of the project, so they'll be able to view everything that has been created to date. So that includes financial documents, messages, attachments, all in the one spot. You can also invite your subcontractors. So as Mel touched on in the past, you can come in and invite them to your project. So what you can come and do is add them in. Any existing ones will appear in your list here. You come in, add the subcontractor you want, add a personal note, invite them. That's going to send that invite off by email. Once they accept, you'll be notified, but you'll also be able to see in here that it's still pending, so they haven't actually accepted it yet. So you can always invite them over. If you want it, you can click on Learn More and see exactly what they do have access to, but this will give you a really good way for you to keep on track of the project with what the subcontractor is doing as well. Okay, so now that we've gone through the project, let's go through project procurement. So we're going to go through 3 features: the timeline, the time tracking tool, and the daily logs. So first we'll start off with the timeline. So we'll click into the timeline tool in our project dashboard, and I'm just going to go ahead and collapse that. So with the project timeline, sometimes managing your calendar and communicating changes to the client or even team members feels like a full-time job in itself. So what you can actually do is come into this intuitive project timeline tool and share this with those members. So in our project timeline at the top, we can select share. That'll give you the option to share it with your client. You can share it with team members or subcontractors and suppliers. So you can turn this on and off and give them access to certain tools. In that, they're going to be able to view all of the stages you have created for this project. So the whole idea is giving your homeowners or team members transparency so they can get updates in real time, pretty much freeing you up to actually focus your time on the actual project rather than keeping the client in the loop. So what you can see is all of our stages we have created within the project and each Gantt chart allocating to their date. What you can come and do is add in a new stage by clicking Add in the top right hand corner, giving your stage a title, You can allocate this to belong to the whole day. You can give it a certain time frame if that's what you prefer. You can give it a location and a certain color. Once you create that stage, it'll add in as a new chart. You can extend the days or change the days it falls on by clicking and dragging in your interactive Gantt chart line item. For a more focused view, you can actually collapse each stage name and then it'll present into the actual Gantt chart coloured allotment. With your Gantt chart, you can fit everything in the one view, you can focus on today, or if you prefer, you can work out of the calendar view as well. To make it that little bit more easier, you can actually click on these three dots and sync your calendar. So if you want to work out of your Google Calendar and see all of those events you've got on today, as well as your Houzz Pro events, you can sync in your calendar and have it viewed all in the one spot. The second tool we'll cover is time and expenses. So we'll hop into finances and then hop into time and expenses. So this allows you to track your time without having to guess. Where was my time going? Where was I working on a certain event? You can actually track your time as you go. So whether you're tracking your own time or a certain team member's time, you can come into your time and expenses tool, click on your stopwatch in the top right hand corner and start tracking. Once you do select start stopwatch, you can allocate a project, you can come in with a specific service, and you also come in with your rates and GST. If you're just logging the time, you're not necessarily wanting to charge this, you can tick billable and that'll allocate it in your time and expenses chart if you want to charge this. If you have unticked billable, you can still charge your client this time. You can then come in with a description. So here I've got a consultation. Maybe we are organizing samples. Once you do select start stopwatch, it'll start tracking your time in the top right hand corner, and you can add in as many stopwatches. If you're multitasking, which I'm sure you guys do a lot, you can track your time as you go across all different projects and services. Another way of tracking your time is by manually tracking. So we can click on new entry in the top right hand corner. And this way we're doing it more manually. So maybe we're backtracking. So here, same process, we're going with a specific project, a team member, a service, all similar items. Rates, billable, GST rates, but here's where it gets a little bit different. So we're backtracking here. So we can open up our calendar tool and maybe we're logging time for last week. We can then allocate how many hours we worked on. Maybe we're traveling here and we're going to log another one for maybe next week or whatever your dates are. You can add in a description and you can actually upload files, which comes in handy for expenses as well. Once you click on save, that'll add in a new entry. We can see at the top here, I've got my 2 new entries for my dates, my services, and my hours. If you wanted to charge this to your client, you can actually tick these 2 boxes and generate an invoice. So that way you can track your time for you and your team members to understand, one, where your hours are being spent, making sure your time's being used well, as well as invoicing your clients directly through Houzz Pro. You can also export your list that you're looking at here. So if you did want to organize it per team member and then export this list for you to keep track of where your time's going into an Excel file, you can do that as well. Let's say 2 hours went by, we can come back into our stopwatch and log our time, or we can delete it entirely. So that is tracking your time, pretty much allowing you to invoice or just see where your time is going. Just makes it easier for you and your team to track your time and expenses and be entered at convenience from your office, or you've even got the mobile app, you can track your time as you go as well. I'm just going to hop back into my project and then I'm going to go into the daily logs tool. So this is really useful in keeping your clients up to date, again, with what's going on within the project. So once you are within a project, we're just going to click on daily logs, and here we can view all the logs created within the project. So here we've got the 1 entry we've got. We can create new ones as we go, but these are just ways for you to keep track of what's going on. So by default, it is shared with, as you can see in the top right hand corner, team members. If you want, you can come in and share this with your clients as well as subs and suppliers. If you want as well, you can actually create these daily, weekly, there is no restriction, you can create as many as you'd like. And you've also got the option for your subcontractors to create these as well. So they can come in and give a recap on what they've done throughout the day on site. Once you create all your daily logs and share them, they're going to be shared on the client dashboard for everyone to collaborate and just see what's going on. So those are the 3 procurement tools. Most of them can be accessed within each project, so feel free to get in and start creating.
Okay, so now we're going to have a look at sharing the client dashboard. And we've mentioned a couple times throughout the webinar about creating these positive client experiences. The dashboard is definitely one of the features you can utilize to foster this. So I'm currently within a project. Each project has their own client dashboard. And all I need to do is click the invite button on the project homepage. I'll get a drop down and I'm going to select client dashboard. And this will link me through to the preview of my client dashboard. Now, I would recommend sharing this with your clients at the very beginning of their project and asking them to bookmark it, because as the project progresses, this will be a one-stop link for them to come to see all of the moving parts and correspondence that you are sending to them about their project. They won't need to go into numerous emails and texts. Everything they need will be in the one spot, making it easy for them to work with you. So let's have a look at how you can share this. You'll notice on the right hand side, this panel says that I can share it as an email, and I absolutely can. Or if I want to send it as a link instead, I can select the link option, copy this link, and I could hyperlink the dashboard in another email to my client if I wanted to. Okay. I can also have some options here on how I would like to display the totals on the dashboard. So do I want them to see the total outstanding, total paid, retainer balance, credit balance? It's up to me, and I can see that that will reflect as I make these options here. Okay. So this is the client preview view, and we're on the home page. So it's showing us a snapshot of all the information currently stored in the dashboard, including any open tasks. You'll see here I have a proposal or an estimate that's ready for approval, any messages or the last message that we sent, the totals, and then also attachments. But as I actually click into each of these details on the left-hand side, we'll go into messages, it's going to show us absolutely everything. So all the messages back and forth with this client from when we were interacting with them in the lead stage to after when we converted to a project and began sending them documents. The financial tab is all of those documents that we are sending. So any proposals, invoices, or estimates that we've sent, any that are outstanding, need approval, need payment, they'll all be listed here. The timeline is also visible here, and again, it's a really great way for you to allow your clients to visualize the different stages of their projects. Any attachments, so any attachments you may have sent via email or any files that you would have uploaded into the file section of the project to share with your client will be visible here. And then daily logs. And also remembering that your subcontractors, if you give them permission to daily logs, they can log within here as well and keep both you and the client up to date in this section. So really giving them that transparency and letting them understand exactly what's happening with their project at any given time.
In Houzz Pro, you have access to a mood board tool. This means you don't have to use all these different softwares to collaborate with your client during the life cycle of your projects, especially in that beginning design phase when you want to create these mood boards and send them off to your client. So this means ultimately it's saving you time and money on your softwares. To access your mood board tool, we're going to select design and hop down to mood boards. So this is going to show you your mood boards that you have created and give you the ability to create extra mood boards across all of your projects. So your mood boards are a really great way for you to share your ideas with your clients at the very start of the project to avoid any redesigning once you've already specified these products. To add in a mood board, select Add a Mood Board, and you can come in and actually start assigning it to specific projects and specific rooms. Once you've got your room, select OK, and that's going to open up the mood board in a new tab. So what we'll be able to see is a blank canvas in the mood board, and then show all of our products on the right hand side. So if you have added in a bunch of products into your project for this specific room, it's already going to list these there for you for a quick access. You've also got your library in the top right hand corner. So if you wanted, you could come in and access all of the products in your Houzz Pro library without having to source extra products. Once you find the product you like, just click on that on your product list. It'll then add into the middle of your mood board for you to then start resizing. Keep doing this as you go just to build up your room. For example, click on a product, re-drag it on the mood board where you want it to go, and you've got a whole bunch of options as well. For example, if I come in and add in an angled product, that could be a chair, a table, pretty much anything, you've got the option to flip it, so you can change which way it faces. You've got other options as well. For example, once you add in a product, it'll automatically remove that white background. If you want to restore this, you can see it automatically crops everything in its view. Simply click remove to bring that back so you've got that layering aspect. You've also got options of skewing. So for example, if you've got a rug, you can actually skew it to make it look like it's laying on the floor. To do that, we just select skew and maneuver your hitbox. So we can come in and give it that bit of perspective. Once you've done that, we'll select OK and then send it to the back. So we're putting it underneath that sofa. Essentially, you can come in and build up your whole room. Every time you add in a product, it'll also add into your product list for that specific room. So then when you actually go to create your proposal or invoice for this particular room, it already has all the products listed for you. Just to skip forward to a room that I've already got created, I'll show you pretty much a finished product and a couple of extra tool options you've got. So again, we've got all of our product list here. In the top left hand corner, we've got options, for example, photos, so you can actually upload from your computer. You can come in and upload images from a floor plan. So if you've got a floor plan you've already created within the software, you can import that here. You can add in color swatches like I've done in the bottom left hand corner. If you don't want to add in that detail, you can come in and remove that by clicking Show Swatch Detail. You've also got the option to come in and add in text, so you can give it a bit of a title. You can play around with fonts, colors and sizes, bold or italic. So here you might want to call it Living Room, nice and creative. And then you've also got the option of drawing, pointing, underlining, or adding in a measuring tool like I've done here. So again, you've got your color and your specific style, and you can give dimensions of products. Once you've created your mood board and you're ready to send this to your client, you can select Save in the top right hand corner, and then you can click on Print in the top right as well, which is going to allow you, one, to print off your mood board, but also if you want to, you can actually share this with your client by saving it as a PDF. That way you can attach it to an email, you can attach it to a document, or just keep it in your records on your computer. You've also got a drop down under mood board where you can create a new mood board, you can save it as, share it, or if you have any questions, you can select help. So your mood boards would look a lot nicer than mine. I'm not a designer, but I hope you get the gist of all the things you can use to create your mood boards. So our second visual tool is floor plans. So you can actually create a floor plan within Houzz Pro, generate a bit of a rendering, and actually send this to your client. So click on Design and then 3D Floor Plans. So if you have installed the mobile app, you can actually take your mobile on site, measure up through your mobile device by following the prompts on the app, and actually uploading that to your desktop view for you to then go back into the office and start adding in products and renderings. So this is also collaborative on your mobile. If you don't want to go on site or you don't have access to the site, you can always come in and add a floor plan in manually as well. So click add a floor plan. That's going to open up a new tab with your floor plan. That's a blank canvas, rectangle room. So this is your opportunity to come in and start building up your room. First thing you might want to do is give it a title. So maybe this is a bedroom for a specific client. You can then come in, zoom out, click on a wall and that'll highlight blue. You can hold down shift and click on multiple walls and they'll both highlight blue. And you can click on the trash can to remove those walls. To add in new walls, we're going to click on our draw walls pen in the top left hand corner. Click on a certain place and add in those new walls. Just as a bit of reference, each square is 1 meter. If you've added in your walls and it's a little bit off measurements, what you can do is actually hop into Dollhouse and get a little 3D model of what you've created. So you can click on a wall and start measuring with specific dimensions. So you can come in, maybe you want that to be exactly 6 meters. You can also click on an internal wall or an external wall and they'll be separate measurements. That's something to keep in mind as well. Once you've done that, hop back into your floor plan view and start customizing a little bit more. So clicking on a wall, you can change the wall thickness. If you needed, you can start adding in your ceiling height, doors and windows. I'm going to keep the ceiling height the same, but with our doors, all we need to do is find the look of the door we want. Select the look we want. It'll add into the middle of our floor plan and we can start measuring, placing these where we want them to go. So maybe I want it on this wall. Maybe it doesn't flip the way I want it to. I can always change that by clicking on flip. Once we have added in a product, we can always allocate specific dimensions. So you can come in on your right hand side and change those to be what you need them to be. Once you've done that, if you come in and duplicate a product that has customized dimensions, it'll duplicate and keep those dimensions as well. If we go in and add in a product from here, even though we've added in the glass door panel, the same as this one, it won't keep the dimension, so it'll add it in as a new product. I'm just going to add in maybe 2 doors, and then once I've done that, I'm going to go in with some more window options. So I'm going to scroll down to my windows. Again, I'm just going to click on the look that I want, so maybe a single, and again, it's going to add into the middle, and I just need to drag it along the walls where I want it to go. With our windows, it's a little bit different, so now we've also got the distance from the floor, so we can come in and change that as well. I always recommend coming in and just hopping back into Dollhouse every now and then just to make sure everything looks about right. So we can see here I did not calculate that properly, so maybe I want to go back into my floor plan, remove and just stick to what was already there because I am not a home professional. Hop back into Dollhouse, make sure it looks good. Awesome. So now that I've got my structural elements down, my wall dimensions, my doors and windows, I'm going to start adding in my products. So as I said before, I'm going to make this a bedroom. So I'm going to hop into my bedroom furniture category. I'm going to click on the product that I want. It's going to add again into the middle. I click on it, drag it where I need it to go and customize those dimensions. Once I've added that in, I can come in with all of my options. Feel free to go through all the categories, see what's right for you. For example, I'm going to just click on float shelving. Again, I'm going to click and drag it to where I want it to go. And then I'm going to go into Dollhouse to make sure that I'm happy with it. So to me, awesome, looks good. Before I send this to my client, I can customize it a little bit more. So I can actually click on the floor and add in flooring. So I've got a couple of wood and carpet options I can have a look at here. But I can also go into Dollhouse and actually customize the walls as well. So we can go one step further, click on each wall. Again, you can hold down shift and click on multiple walls at once and add in a paint color. So maybe I'm going to add in a grey wall. What I'm going to do is actually go into a floor plan that I've already created just to kind of show you what the difference is. So this is something that's been created. I've got kind of like a unit style. I've got my separate rooms. You can create as many rooms as you'd like. I've got all my dimensions in. I can go back into Dollhouse view, have a look at the 3D model. So now I'm going to see what it looks like all come together and have a look at it all as one. I've also got the option of walkthrough. So what that's going to do is actually put me inside the room so my client can look around and see how it all comes together. Once I've got it all down pat and I'm happy with it, what I'm going to do is click on share in the top right hand corner and actually copy this link and send it to my client. That way my client will be able to look at floor plan, dollhouse and walk through and look at what I've created. They won't be able to click on it and edit the dimensions or add in extra products. They're just looking at what you've created. You can always duplicate a floor plan you've created, rename it or delete it. You can create as many floor plans as you'd like across all projects. So feel free to come in, create a couple of drafts, play around with the mobile app as well, and generate a couple of floor plans and send it to your client.
So that brings us to the end of today's webinar. If we didn't answer all of your questions, a reminder, we'll be getting back to you via email later today. Also, if you do have any follow-up questions for us, remember you can always use the Help Center in the top right-hand corner of your account and search our articles, or submit a request through to us, include the topic and as much detail as you can, and submit your questions directly through to the support team, and we'll get back to you from there as well. We'll also be launching the link to the Houzz Pro app in the chat box now. If you haven't already downloaded it, please go ahead, as it's going to help you keep on top of your projects on the go as well. Well, that's everything, guys. Thank you so much for your time today, and we look forward to working with you. Bye.